Hey guys, welcome back to the Book and Beverage Review, where today we're going to be doing something really special. This is a book called The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu. I have just finished reading it and I'm just in love with this book. Also today we're going to be trying the Snapple Elements Air Prickly Pear and Peach White Tea. The reason why I chose this is because in the book, one of the main characters, Taisha, she is able to manipulate air and winds to be able to glide and fly on currents. And that was so cool to me. It's kind of reminiscent of Asian fairy tales and also of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It was a very seminal work, and it kind of reminds me of the character in here. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's sip a beverage and get into this story. So I don't know anything about this. I saw this at Kroger and I felt like it went perfect with today's video, so I was really excited to have it. So let's try it. It doesn't pack as much of a flavor punch as I thought it would. I definitely think that prickly pear comes across. There's something about that flavor that's unique. It's not bad, but it is unique, and it's not something I've actually had before. I think I really like this, but there's still a lot of sugars. As you guys know, I've been very conscious of how much sugars drinks have because it's kind of gross, honestly. This has 25 sugars, so it's not as bad as some things, but it's also still kind of sugary, and that gets across. It almost tastes like a lightly fruity flavored sugar water in a way, but this is not bad. So I'll be sipping it, and I guess I'll make a final decision at the end of this. I am so excited to talk about this. So this book centers around John, who is a prophesized hero of his people, of the 5 states. So there's basically warring factions, and their civilization is split up into 5 sections, and it's prophesied that he's going to kill a legendary villain and he's going to bring peace to the nations. So for hundreds of years, this kid has been prophesied, and eventually they find him, and he's basically raised in the emperor's old castle, and he's almost like a very spoiled prince in a way, and he has all the best teachers. And what happens is we meet him when he's a teenager, and who comes along is a woman named Taisha. She has a limp arm, and she's an elderly woman, and she seems like a farmer at first, and she's watching him compete. And then she jumps into the arena and starts sparring with this kid who's this prophesized hero, only to find out he really sucks. And he really isn't good at what he's doing, and he's kind of stupid too at first is what she sees him as. She does feel like he has potential, but he's not really making good choices. And so it's revealed that this woman is one of the greatest martial arts people in this world, and she immediately is able to lay down some orders and throws out all his masters and begins teaching him proper martial arts. So first off, super big bonus to a badass female character. This was no joke. She is one of the most badass female roles I've ever read. And slowly in this Asian fantasy setting, you start seeing incorporations of magic, and you start seeing the supernatural happening. Some of these scenes reminded me of Ip Man. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and I'm sorry, but it reminded me of Ip Man the movie, which I love. And the tabletop scene in Ip Man 2 is like one of the best martial arts scene, in my opinion, of all cinema. And there are things that are happening in this novel that rivals that scene, if not sometimes tops it. And that's kind of hard for me, because even though that was based on a true story, this is still really cool. How we got this level of expertise, again, not that I would know what that's like. I'm not a martial artist, but as a former kid who was beat up a lot when she was young by other kids, I grew up to wanting to be a badass like this main character. I don't think I succeeded, but I can tell you living vicariously through Taisha is probably my next favorite thing. I felt cool reading it. Does that make sense? She does have a heart, and she does have a really tragic backstory, which starts coming out, and I loved this. It's fun, it's funny, it's direct, it's gritty, it makes you think. I thought the book was gorgeous. I thought it was wonderful and super easy to read. Something about it just aesthetically just made me feel good to read it. And then I found out towards the end there was a very specific typeset, which I'd never seen a novel do before. It says about the type and talks. I mean, if it happened before, you guys let me know. It talks about the typeset and the font and what choice it was. And guess what? I'm hooked. Something about this font, something about the actual book I fell in love with. It's an Asian setting. It's no one particular Asian setting. It derives from a lot of different sources. It kind of reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender in that sense. And it's super, super martial arts heavy, but in the best of ways. Wesley Chu described as like a kung fu novel. I know Wesley Chu is a martial artist. He wanted to make a fantasy novel that was Asian, that was not the traditional European setting, which I loved. He actually had this idea a long time ago, and he said he didn't have the courage to do it, and that he'd written all his other novels, and he said, finally, I feel like I have the courage to do it. I don't think that he was wrong in the sense like he honed his skill until he got here, so he made a masterpiece. This is a modern masterpiece. World building was incredible. He built this all by himself, and look at this map. Sometimes people have maps and it's just like, whatever, I don't use them. I was using this map. I wanted to know where they were going. But like, this is top 3, one of the best books I've read. This has got to be best book of the year. Final thoughts. This book gets 5 stars. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's going to get 5 stars. I did not expect to love it this much. I knew I liked it in the beginning, but I didn't know I loved it. And I think that if you liked something like Avatar: The Last Airbender, if you like something like Bruce Lee films, or Michelle Yeoh, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, like from the Ip Man films, you're going to love this novel. And I know there's a lot of nerds out there like me, so out the gate, just, this is not comparable to anything I've ever read. Super original, super funny, super powerful, super energetic, and keeps its energy. Bravo to you. In this book at the back, it says he just summited Kilimanjaro, which is like, as for this, I'm gonna give this a 3. It's fair. I might buy it again. Probably not. I have a lot of other flavors to try in this. It's not going to be my #1 thing. This is a little too sweet for me for just like a flavored water. Try it, pick it up. I think it was a fun combination for our book today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I just always look forward to doing these videos because even though they're a pain to sometimes edit or upload for whatever reason, every time you guys do end up seeing it, it makes me happy because I'm able to tell you about something I'm really passionate about. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I look forward to sipping a beverage with you and getting into a new story soon. Take care, guys.